Hello and welcome to Golden Droplets episode number 35. My name is Ricardo Valls. I'm the president and founder of Valls Your Consultant, and in today's episode we will be talking about machine learning and how we can start using machine learning to process our data tomorrow. So once again, Golden Droplets episode number 35. Enjoy.
I remember a time when my bosses will demand me to process all the data that we received from the lab because they didn't believe in statistics. Then we got the introduction of computers in geology. And with that, things got worse because the bosses would say, well, don't complain, the computer will process all the data. Jump ahead a few years, and now we are collecting so much data that definitely without a computer is no possible way to process this thing. Then we got the birth of the big data, and with big data demanded better computers, and better computers generated bigger data. So that's the situation at this moment. If you are not working for one of those few companies that are using artificial intelligence, you have too much data to process, too little time to process. You are still using non-intelligent software like Excel, Access, etc. And you still have the economic responsibility of finding that target to drill, the target that will finally put your company in the black and make the investors notice your company. Hello, my name is Ricardo Valls. I'm a graduate from Moscow from 1983. I'm a registered professional geoscientist in Ontario. I'm also a qualified person. And I'm the author of several books on geology, artificial intelligence, quality control, and quality assurance. One of these books will be very useful for this presentation. And it's a step-by-step graphical guide to show you how you can start using machine learning to process your data today. This presentation will be covering mostly free software. If you want a copy of this presentation, you can send me an email here at valsvg@gmail.com. So let's start with some definitions. Artificial intelligence is divided between weak and strong artificial intelligence. With weak artificial intelligence is when you ask Siri to tell you the weather. Strong artificial intelligence, that is the domain of machine learning. Machine learning uses deep learning as a technique to learn. You need machine learning. If you are not going to be using machine learning, you're going to be obsolete in no time. You do not need a PhD in order to use machine learning. And machine learning allows you different interpretation, things that you cannot get from normal statistical analysis. Machine learning is also relatively faster and more objective. Now, you may hear some people saying that we don't need to use machine learning. This is just a fad. Well, let's jump to 1972 and imagine this situation. Your boss is telling you, we are not going to use email. That's a fad. It will disappear. Who will stop writing letters? Yes, machine learning is here to stay. There are several myths like you are too small to apply machine learning, and I will show you that even an independent consultant can apply machine learning, and that you cannot apply machine learning to normal size of data. And yes, it is true that the more data you have, the better it works, but you can apply machine learning to your normal soil sampling or drilling program results. The other thing is that machine learning helps you save a lot of time in the preparation of the samples to be processed. And most important is the data reproducibility. It keeps a record of what you're doing, so anytime you reprocess the data, you will get the same results. Now, we also hear machine learning is only for the big companies. And yes, of course, there are big companies using Watson from IBM. But you don't need to be a big company to use machine learning. Machine learning is too expensive. Here I will show you at least 3 programs that you can download for free from the internet. So no worries. Let's start with the first one. The first one is called Talend. Talend is a program that allows you to convert the results that you get from the lab, usually in this form, into a table that is ready to be processed. Here you have the program at the center of the screen. Sorry about that. At the center of the screen, you have the data, and immediately you get some statistical value of the data. The most important part is that the program keeps a record of all the changes that you make. So next time you just plot new data, and the steps to process it is already in the program. And then you just export the data to Excel, CSV, ASCII, or whatever. There are few video tutorials that you can check down here. Weka. Weka was developed in New Zealand, and from my opinion, is the best open source free machine learning available at this moment. We used it to do a training program with Dr. Rafael Rodríguez from the Universidad Nacional de Medellín, where we process geochemical data trying to identify the ore types in Colombia. And we got this beautiful flowchart that by just doing a variogram analysis, we can determine the type of mineralization. Weka is user-friendly, but not as user-friendly as other software. So my book, which is a step-by-step graphical instruction, will be very useful for you. But you also can check a series of videos that you will find in YouTube. They are very, very useful. RapidMiner, that's the second one of this software. It has a free version, on cloud version. It's a little bit more limited, but you can test the whole system, the whole program for free. It is very intuitive and very easy to use. Even in its free version, it will save you a lot of time. Most important, is not a black box. So just showing you here, this is the processing. We were describing the first Carlin type deposit discovered in Colombia by our company, Alicanto Mining. And here you have the data that we got from Talend. I must say that the RapidMiner also have a similar step that you can process and clean your data, but we just got it from Talend. Then you select what you want to do. Do you want to predict which sample will have gold values? Would you like to do a cluster analysis, or are you just interested in checking the outliers? Then this is very important. The system selects which elements contain useful information and suggests you not to use others that are just redundant. Then you select which software, which machine learning process you want to use. As I said, in the free version, you have 2 or 3, Naive Bayes and Decision Tree is always there. It takes few seconds to run these different machine learning systems, and then you get the results. In this case, we got a tree that by just analyzing one element, we will know if the sample will contain gold or not. Of course, because this is proprietary information, the element that we use was not bronze, it's another element. As I mentioned before, it's not a black box. You have here the step-by-step process. All the model that you use is safe. So next time you just have new data, you just plug the new data to this model, and you get the results again in minutes. You're saving a lot of time. There is another system called BayesiaLab, which has a different video. I will show you, I will give you a link later for that other video. And then I want to mention 2 other programs, IMIME and Microsoft Azure. They are both, they are not specifically designed for natural sciences, mostly for customers and marketing. But you can still use them. They are for free, and as you learn more about the different machine learning systems, you can use this program. Hello, this is a quick tour to show you how BayesiaLab works. So when you open BayesiaLab, I'm going to close this. You just go to Data, and you can read a text file. I'm going to have a text file from my computer. And in this first screen, you can check that your data is loaded correctly. Then, for example, in this case, I will identify this column as the row identifier. Since we have the weight for each sample, I will use that to normalize. Click Next. Here is to deal with missing data. We don't have any missing data. And we are ready. We just click Finish. And we get our first graphic. Now, usually you need to identify what is your target. In this case, right-click, set a target node, and then we ask the computer, the program, to do an unsupervised structural learning. It's usually EQ is a good one. So we click OK, and the computer immediately finds out the relationship between each node. In order to better look at this, we can click on View, Layout, and Symmetric Layout. And here it is clear the relationship between every node. We can do a clustering, and for that we just go to Learning, Clustering, Variable Clustering. We select a maximum of 5, keep that, and immediately we get the different clusters. So we can see that gold is, you can have a cluster that is gold, copper, and iod. There is another one that is aluminum and gallium. There is another one down here that is iron, potassium, germanium, lithium, so lithophilic elements. So very quickly you can analyze your data and decide how you're going to combine them to continue the study. There are 4 things I want you to take from this presentation. Machine learning is not just for the big companies, and you will become obsolete if you do not integrate machine learning in your work. You don't need IBM Watson. You don't need a PhD. You don't even need high mathematics education to implement machine learning in your work. You don't need big data to use machine learning. You can apply it to your normal data and get new insights that you will not get from normal statistical analysis. And the most important one, you should start today. Thank you for your attention. This is where you can find me.